ลงน้ำ
Welcome to the Cars Rule in the Rainforest Review. In this mini tutorial, we'll go thoroughly through apostrophe S's for ACT. Traditionally, this is something that kids tend to struggle with. Let's get started. Thinking like a kid and not making it harder than it actually is, apostrophes look like a mini name tag. If we were to take this mini name tag and turn it sideways and scrunch it down, it would look a lot like this. We know that if there's a name tag on something, we know that somebody owns or possesses that object. For example, if there's a mini name tag in the back of your jersey, jacket, or backpack that tells you that that person, whoever's name is on the mini name tag, owns or possesses that object. Remember when you were a kid and your mom used to write your name on the little tag in the back of your jacket in case it got lost at school? Many name tags tell you there's possession. Let's look at the steps in the process. Step number 1, what we do is we take our finger and put it over the apostrophe. Boom. If there's an apostrophe, there's possession. Mini name tag. Note, no apostrophe, no possession. In this case here, we have the word chair apostrophe S. So we know there's possession. Step number 2. Now, once we have our finger still over the mini name tag, we're going to look to the left and ask ourselves, is that word singular or plural? Step 1, put your finger over the mini name tag. Step 2, let's look to the left. When we look to the left, we see that the word is chair. That's singular. One chair with possession. Now, on to step 3. There's 2 parts. Part A is we have to make a decision when we look to the right of the mini name tag. Is that being possessed by the object before? Does one chair possess legs? Does a chair own its own legs? In this case, we put a check by A. Yes, a chair has 4 legs. On to B. The word to the right of the mini name tag, we have to now ask, is that singular or plural? Here, the word legs is plural. Does that make sense? Does one chair have more than one leg? In this case, yes. This sentence here, the chair's legs are long. That means one chair possesses its legs, and those legs are long. One chair. On to the next sentence. Let's go through the same steps. You'll see that in this example, step 3, B, is going to be different. Step 1, take your finger and cover up the mini name tag or apostrophe. Here. Step 2, look to the left. Pen. It's singular. There's one pen. Step 3, we look to the right. Is there possession or not? Does a pen possess or own its own cap? Yes, it does. The word to the right of the mini name tag, is it singular or is it plural? Cap. It's singular. That makes sense. One pen owns one cap. You can see that ACT will try and trick you by doing something like this. The pen's caps, or the chair's leg. If they put the apostrophe on the outside and got rid of the S, that would mean plural chairs possess one leg. That's impossible. The pen's cap. Multiple pens own one cap. That's also impossible. When you use these 3 steps, the CARS rule becomes quite easy. Let's continue on and take a look at some more practice problems below. The next example, the cars in the parking lot are various colors. Remember, an apostrophe looks like a mini name tag. And here we have no apostrophe S. That means no possession. There's cars, multiple cars, plural, and they're just simply in the parking lot. There's no need to put an apostrophe S because they don't own or possess the parking lot. The next example, the car's hood is dented. Let's go through the steps. 1, put your finger over the apostrophe. 2, look to the left, singular or plural. Here, car, it's singular, one car. Now let's look to the right. Is there possession? To the right. Does a car own or possess a hood? Yes. And is it singular or plural? In this case, hood is singular. Does that make sense? One car possesses one hood, and that hood is dented? Yes. You could see a couple ways they could goof you up here on the test. They could put hoods here, which is plural, and one car does not own multiple hoods, so that would be incorrect. The other thing, they could put the apostrophe S on the outside of the S. Multiple cars own one hood. That doesn't work either. Let's take a look at the final example. The final example says, the car's wheels are black. Let's get started. Take your finger, put it over the apostrophe. There it is. Step 2, look to the left. Is it singular or plural? When we look to the left, we see that it has cars, C-A-R-S, plural. Step number 3, look to the right. Is there possession? Does a car own its own wheels? Yes. Car has 4 wheels. When we look to the right, we have to ask ourselves, the word to the right, is it singular or plural? Here, wheels. That's plural. Does that make sense? Does multiple cars own multiple wheels? Yes. Multiple cars own multiple wheels. That's what this sentence means. Now, just so you see, you have to understand what the author is trying to get at. I could take this apostrophe and put it here and get rid of that. Now, when we run through the steps, this sentence changes. We put our finger over the apostrophe here and now look to the left. When we do, we see when the apostrophe is between the R and the S, that it's car, it's singular. When we look to the right, does one car own wheels? Yes, because one car owns 4 wheels. And is it singular or plural? Wheels, plural. In this case, it still makes sense. One car owns multiple wheels, whereas the sentence before was multiple cars own multiple wheels. So you have to look at the sentence probably a little bit before to make sure you understand what the author is getting at. Now, let's take a look at some more practice problems where we have to draw in the apostrophe S. In this short exercise, we have a sentence in front of us with a picture. We have to make a decision. Do we need an apostrophe S? And if so, where do we place it? Sentence number 1 says, the pup's paws are on the seat belt. Here's the picture of a cute puppy sitting in the back seat of my car. The pups pause. First things first, if we don't have an apostrophe, we have to ask ourselves, here's the word that's in question with the apostrophe S. Do we have to put one in here or not? Do we have to, here's an S too, do we have to put an apostrophe S in here or not? Well, going through the process out of order, we know that what comes to the right has to be the object in possession. So that means the word before will own it. If we look over here, do paws own the word are? No. There will be no apostrophe S here. Over here, we see we have the word pups. We look at this word here and say, do pups own paws? Do they possess their own paws? Yes. So this word needs an apostrophe. Where do we put it? Let's try it here. Now, when we put an apostrophe S in here and quickly look at the picture, let's see if it makes sense. Put your finger over the apostrophe. Now look to the left. Is it singular or plural? Pups. It's plural. The pups possess their own paws. Plural. Do we have plural pups owning plural paws that are on the seatbelt? When you look over here, there's one pup. That's wrong. We would simply place the apostrophe to make it seem like there's one puppy here. Remember, possession, look to the left, it's singular. Let's take a look at another example that gets you looking at these rules out of order, just like you would on ACT. So, if you look over here, here is the question. The pup's ears perk up when I ring the food bell. You see the picture of these two cute puppies. Now, we have to ask ourselves, do we need an apostrophe whenever we see an S? Here is a word with an S, and here is a word with an S. So let's look. If we go out of order, the word to the right of ears is perk up. Do ears own perk up or possess perk up? No. So we don't need an apostrophe S on this word. This word here, pups, to the right is ears. Do pups own or possess their own ears? Yes. So this word here will need an apostrophe S. Now, let's go ahead and just randomly pop in one of the apostrophe S's right here between P and S. We have an apostrophe, which is a mini name tag, which tells us that there's possession. The pups own their ears. Now, when we look to the left, we ask singular or plural. If the apostrophe is here, we look to the left and see it says pup. That's singular. When we look at the picture, we know that's wrong right away. So we'll have to move the apostrophe. When we put the apostrophe on the outside of the S, when we look to the left now, we see that we have plural pups. And when we look to the right, do the pups own their own ears? Yes. And is that word that's in possession, ears, plural or singular? Here is pups plural, and here's ears plural. Do plural puppies own plural ears? Yes, that is correct. This sentence says there's multiple puppies that own multiple ears that perk up. You see? Perk and perk when I ring the food bell. Let's take a look at the next example. The snowball pups look funny. First thing we do is ask ourselves, do we need an apostrophe? Let's see, S's. Here's a word with an S. Pups. Do pups own or possess look funny? No, they own their eyes, they own their tails, they own their paws, they own their nose, but they don't own or possess look funny. Right away, no apostrophe means no possession. This is correct. It just means there's multiple pups that look funny. They kind of look funny. Let's look at the next example. In this sentence, we have the pup's eyes stare as they wait for dinner. We have a quick look at the photo. We see that we have 4 pups. So we know that the word in question with the S has to be plural. Here we have eyes, and here we have pups. So let's start here. We are going out of order. We're looking to the right first. Do eyes own or possess stare? No, no possession here, so we don't need an apostrophe S here. Here's another word with S on it. Do pups own their own eyes? Yes. We need an apostrophe S on this word. Now, since we see over here in the photo, we have 4 pups, that's multiple or plural. So we put the apostrophe on the outside. See how we're going out of order, but we're still using these same 3 steps? Here, now we have plural pups own or possess multiple eyes. That makes sense. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plural pups own their own eyes, and those eyes stare as they wait for dinner. Make sense? Now, let's look at a trickier problem. This is something close to what you'll actually see on test day. Here is the sentence, and here's the word in question. When I was at the zoo in Apple Valley, I saw the lion's cage being cleaned. You could hear their roars throughout the whole zoo. Lion's cage. Okay, so here is an S. In step number 1, we have to make a decision. Do we need an apostrophe or not? Because if there's no possession, no apostrophe. Does a lion or multiple lions own a cage? The answer is yes. We need possession. So we'll need our mini name tag. But where do we put it? It says lion's cage. Well, if we put it here, that means there's one lion and that lion owns its own cage. That would make sense, right? But wait a second. Usually lions don't have a cage all by themselves, or do they? Could you put 2 lions in one cage? Like this? And say multiple lions live in one cage? I think so. So how do we know if it's singular or plural? We have to hunt around and look at the sentence either above or the sentence below and see if we can get some hints. When I was at the zoo in Apple Valley, okay, that doesn't help us. But let's look at the sentence after. You could hear their roars, okay, roars throughout the whole zoo. Does one lion roar, or does one lion give multiple roars? Still confusing, because one lion could have more than one roar, and multiple lions could also have more than one roar. That doesn't help. But wait, see it? There. That's plural possession. So that tells us that their roars has to go. There's multiple lions that are roaring. And now we know that the apostrophe will go here. Lions, plural, possess their own cage. And how do we know? Because their, plural, own their own roars. A couple other words that you may see is you may see clues like that lion. That would suggest singular. Those lions. That would be plural. Or if you see the word it, it would suggest singular. Let's take a look at problem number 39. Problem 39 is right here, and in our answer choices you can see we have an apostrophe S here in B after N and before S, And over here we have an apostrophe after the S. So once again, using the 3 steps that we learned earlier, place your finger over mini name tag and look to the left. In this case, answer choice B, that tells us there's one scorpion with possession of the word that comes to the right. It's naturally and homes. Naturally homes. That means one scorpion owns its naturally homes. First of all, that sounds weird. And then we need to make a decision. Are we talking about one scorpion, or are we talking about, as D suggests, multiple scorpions? Let's go back to the beginning of the sentence. Up here it says, most problems occur at construction sites where the scorpions, that doesn't help a lot. So what do? We go back a little bit further. If you look up here at the previous sentence, it says scorpions. It's plural. So we know that a scorpion, plural, is going to own their own homes. See how that's plural as well? A scorpion owns their own natural homes. Answer choice D. Answer choice C says it's a single scorpion owning homes. That doesn't work. And answer choice A and answer choice C have no possession. 39D. Let's take a look at problem number 6. Problem number 6, if you look at answer choice F, there is no apostrophe S there. That means no possession. And if we look to the right, we see that it says family. Do parents possess or own their own extended family? Yes, we need possession. F can be crossed out right away. And also J, by the way. Answer choice G, we have an apostrophe after T between S. That would say, when we look to the left, we see it's one parent possessing their own family. Well, we know that most people have 2 parents. Here, the apostrophe S comes after the S, which means plural. Plural possession of their own family. Answer choice H for problem 6. Let's take a look at one final problem. It's problem number 17. The sentence starts up here with many and ends down over here with diversity. Let's get started. Many forms of music have originated in the United States, comma, thanks in large part to the nation's rich ethnic diversity. 17 is here. We're asked the CARS rule. Here, as answer choice A says, there is no mini name tag, so no possession. How do we know? Let's spot check. We'll go out of order with our 3 steps. Here, we look to the right. Does a nation own its own rich ethnic diversity? Yes, so we need a mini name tag. A can be crossed out. No mini name tag, no possession. We need it. Answer choice B can be crossed out for the same reason. No mini name tag, no possession. Now, when you look at answer choice C and D, we have a mini name tag in C after the S. When we look to the left, we see that we have nations. That's plural. D, there's a mini name tag after the N. When we look to the left, that tells us it's singular. So, is it singular or plural? When we go back up into the beginning of the sentence, it says United States. That's singular. The correct answer, therefore, will be D. Thanks for watching the CARS rule. Bye for now.